Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, joined by our resident coach, Mr. David Fizdale, and our NBA insider, Dave McMenamin, popping up from Venice Beach. I mean, he's got the best location of all of us, Fizz. We're all making mistakes here, except for Dave. Coming up, Kevin Durant played in an NBA game for the first time in a year and a half, and boy, did he look good. We will discuss his outlook for the season. First, though, let's start with his teammate, Kyrie Irving, who just moments ago, friends, spoke to the media for the first time. You will recall he was fined last week for failing to do his media obligations, which are, as I mentioned, in the CBA contract the players signed, when he said, "I do not talk to pawns." Apparently that has changed. Listen to Kyrie today.
Well, like I said, the focus is on what's going on in the task here, my job. And I wanted to make sure that was clear. There are no distractions. Nothing about dispelling anything, nothing about going back and forth, nothing about calling out one person or another, not even to refer to you guys as pawns, you know what I mean, or media. It's just really how I felt about the mistreatment of certain artists when we get to a certain platform, of when we make decisions within our lives, to have full control and ownership. We go through the rigorous season, we do everything we're asked to do, and we want to perform in a secure and protected space. And if I can't have my voice protected on this platform where I offer myself and my art, just inviting everyone to it, because this is what I've been blessed to do. And then you got a two-time MVP coaching you, man. I'm like, I think I got to take back my comments in terms of head coach back a few months ago. But it's just like, man, we have such a great synergy. Everyone feels like we're coaching one another to be better. So I'm grateful for that.
Coach Fizz, what's your reaction when you see him there?
Well, that's the right thing to say, obviously, to clarify. But at the end of the day, the media is just part of the deal. And especially in New York City, get used to it. I've lived it. And for the most part in New York, you have really big-time sports journalists. But you do have those writers who are sensationalists and want to poke at you and kind of tabloid it. And so I see how that can get annoying to a player at times. But you just kind of prepare yourself that that's what it's going to be. They're going to always be trying to pull at your threads, always trying to pull at your culture, especially in a big media market like that. And you're just going to have to find a common ground and a good level of respect to walk that line with them.
Dave?
Well, speaking as someone who covered him day in, day out for 3 years and didn't really feel like I had a different advanced relationship with him at the end of those 3 years than I did on day one, all I ask as someone, speaking on behalf of the media corps, an advocate for the job we do, is just fulfill your obligations. Don't have to be friends with us, but speak to us after games, because if ultimately what you seek is understanding for the art that you are putting out there, the best way we can understand it is if we hear it directly from you, because otherwise we got to talk to other people who can interpret what you're doing and then put those quotes and that information in our stories versus getting it straight from the source. And so today, I hope, was an olive branch, because listen, the Nets are going to be one of the most fascinating teams all season long. Yes. Kyrie's one of the most fascinating cats in the horse's mouth.
It's interesting to me, watching him speak just now, the best advocate for Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving.
Absolutely.
He is telegenic, he is charming, he is smart. When he wants to have a real conversation, he is winning in every kind of way. And he could be his own advocate in so many ways with the people that he feels are causing him distractions or taking away from him. He could actually be helpful in changing that. It's when he does the big Instagram sort of,
broadcast
treatises that I think allows people to sort of read into it. To Dave's point, I was also interested to hear him make his comment about Steve Nash saying, I got to take back what I said a few months ago. That was, of course, in reference to the podcast that he and Kevin Durant did together, where he said, one day he's going to be the coach, one day I'm going to be the coach, we're all going to be coaches. And it's funny, in the moment, again, some people said, that's not a great thing to set up your new coach, Steve Nash, legendary Steve Nash, with. And he was upset that people were, quote, taking it out of context, or why do I live in this media world and all of that. Well, today he said himself, I got to take back what I said.
Right.
So clearly he knows now that was not the right thing to say.
Yeah, and I just think that he's going to learn fast. They're going to have to put a nice little bubble over their team. Same thing we did in Miami. don't say too much. You just give them enough. You don't let them in your locker room from the standpoint of information. Because the biggest issue they're going to have this year are people trying to tear them apart from the outside. That team's got you can see the relationships are there. Steve Nash is the kind of guy that's a team builder. So they do have to be aware of what can tear them apart outside. But you need to understand you have to deal with the media, and you can use the media to your advantage if you approach it with the proper level of respect.
The media is a conduit to the fans.
No doubt.
That's just how it is. That's
Yes.
why that is part of the collective bargaining agreement. Kevin Durant returning to action last night.